Can't find no work, can't find no job, my friend. Money is tighter than it's ever been. Say, man, I just don't understand what's going on across this land. Ah, what's happening, brother? Yeah, what's happening? What's happening, man?
Welcome. My name is Valerie Crawford. I'm here at Phenomenal Expressions at 517 Main Street in downtown Buffalo, and this is the Advocator Show. Here on the Advocator, our goal is to introduce and bring awareness to the things that are going on in our community and around the world. Right now we have a special guest with us, Mr. DeWitt Lee III.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Highly blessed, indeed.
Now, Mr. DeWitt, Mr. Lee, is the founder and host of the Money, Power, and Respect Show on Power 96 FM. Am I correct?
Yep, don't forget the .5 parts. 96.5 FM. The all-new sound of Buffalo.
Thank you. I apologize
No,
for that.
that's not a problem.
Now, just tell us a little bit about yourself. I understand you were raised in Buffalo, but you were born in Toronto.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to refer to being built in Buffalo. I owe everything to the city. Who I am, my hustle, my determination, my grind, it was all founded here in the city. But Toronto is where I was born, and I decided in 2003 to explore my motherland, you know, or my auntie land. Not my motherland, my auntie land, in Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, tell us that you brought up, your show is Money, Power, and Respect.
Right.
Now, give us a little bit of background of what took you back to Toronto on the money aspect of the show.
Right. Well, I appreciate you bringing that up, and it's pretty clever how you use the show to help frame out this interview. So money is the reason why I traveled to Toronto. That we started a movement in the early 2000s here in Buffalo. It was called Ethos Interactive Magazine. All right, and so in 2000, early 2000, we made history. We actually produced the world's first interactive CD-ROM community-based magazine. All right, so we actually did interviews and videos just like this, and we put the content on an interactive CD-ROM, and we distributed them by the thousands to people, so they were able to put it on their computer and have access to this interactive environment without the use of the internet. This is before high-speed internet. This is when AOL was still passing out CD-ROMs, and they used to mail them to your house. Exactly. Right? So those discs, although had a program for the AOL for the dial-up, they were about 99% empty. So we were able to fill that other 99% of space on those CD-ROMs with an interactive environment. And I got to thank WebTies. There's a web design company here in Buffalo that took a chance on me as a young guy with a dream and a vision. I didn't know anything about CD-ROM development. I didn't know anything about video editing, but I knew that this product had to exist. And he was able to help me bring it to life. So the magazine did very well in Buffalo. And it did so well that we went from having just one product called Ethos Interactive Magazine to another product that focused on an older demographic called the Concrete Chronicles.
So you covered the whole spectrum.
So we covered the scene, the hip hop, and the music and the fashion life. We tried to put it all together in one product which was Ethos, but it just started to spill over a little bit. And you know what? When we wanted to cater to families with the Ethos product, you know, it didn't allow us to go as edgy as we needed to go to be able to compete for an 18 to 34 demographic.
But I understand that wasn't enough catering to the families for you. You also ran for office, correct?
Yeah, well, in Toronto, after bringing the magazine in Toronto, the Concrete Chronicles to Toronto, and I did so without any support or any infrastructure in place. I did so on a whim. I did so with just one master CD-ROM. I had one master of one product, and I went to Toronto and I found another gentleman who was willing to take a chance on me and gave me 500 CD-ROMs on consignment. And I hit the streets selling those things. So, and I went from no infrastructure, no support. All I had was permission to hustle in Canada. That's all I had. And I didn't have a couch to sleep on, but all I had was a product that people wanted. And I sold that in Toronto on the streets and turned that into establishing an office downtown Toronto. built an entire team that developed these interactive CD-ROM magazines.
Okay.
And that was my life. I was very happy with that life. And it wasn't until 2009 that I heard a voice that I know so very well. And I truly credit, God to calling me to reform myself and prepare myself for a new level of life. And that was to get into politics and serving the people. And so yes, in 2010, I ran for mayor in Toronto, and I followed that up with another bid for the top spot in Toronto in 2014.
Okay. Now, how did it compare for you doing the CD-ROMs and running for office? Did you tie those in together?
Well, it made me a great advocate for arts, right? It gave me I lived a life as an artist, right? I supported artists. I created, marketing campaigns and provided a platform for artists. So I understood that space, but I was completely naive to what politics existed and how it operated. And I come from the U.S., so I know Democrats and Republicans, and it's completely different in Toronto, and I didn't know that. And when actually God first told me to run for office, I used my own understanding and thought that I wouldn't qualify because I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I don't belong to a party here. But it wasn't until I did some homework and God kept tugging on my heart that I realized I didn't have to have a party affiliation, and that if I wanted to do it, I could do it, and I did.
But thanks to him, you had an affiliation with him. You just had to separate it from
Right.
the affiliation.
It's true. It's true. And also, I got to credit, I also had an affiliation with another party, and that was the after party. And so that was my party, and they represented, the people who I serviced in media that represented, but I built great relationships with those in the social space, those in the community advocacy areas, and built a great base of people who make a difference every day in the city of Toronto. We're talking about over almost 3 million people live there, and trying to build relationships across the board was a tall task. But you know what? We still accomplished the inevitable. We still accomplished the unbelievable. And out of 42 candidates that ran in 2010, I finished 12th place. And I started the race 7 months late, so because I kept talking myself out of it. So we still finished very respectable, and people knew that we were a force to reckon with.
Well, we thank you for that, and we ask you all right now to join us for our brief after party. We'll be right back. Again, we're here at Phenomenal Expressions on location at 517 Main Street in downtown Buffalo, the Advocator Show with Mr. DeWitt Lee III.
Phenomenal Expressions is a sponsor of the Advocator Show. Our hand-selected jewelry and uniquely crafted ensembles are for those who aspire to convey elegance, individuality, and style.
Welcome back to the Advocator Show. I'm Valerie Crawford. We're on location here at Phenomenal Expressions at 517 Main Street in downtown Buffalo. And again, we're here with Mr. DeWitt Lee III, the founder and host of the Money, Power, and Respect Show on Power 96.5.
That's right,
Welcome
FM.
back.
Thank you so much, and much power and respect to you, my sister. You're doing a great job, and I love this facility. This place is so it's just so welcoming and warm and so impressive. I mean, being in Toronto, I get used to seeing really fancy boutiques and really unique niche places of fashion. And this, to me, I think is the mecca of fashion in downtown Buffalo. I think this right here is the epicenter of fashion. I mean, I know there's a few different places people can get things like this, but there's so much unique stuff, and I love the fact that it's local designers that are able to find a home here. So I'm really at home myself. Thank you.
Well, and you hit on it here at Phenomenal Expressions. It's more than just a fashion. You get a family feel. There's not one person that comes in here that doesn't leave out filling out the family.
Well, we know what that's just part of who we are as a people. We are welcoming, we are warm, but really, honestly, all of that set aside, it's all about the product. At the end of the day, people want good stuff to get, and they want something that they can give as gifts and they can feel good about the quality of it, and it's here. So that is not a part of the commercial. I'm not paid for that endorsement. All right, I just want to go on record to say that I'm just really impressed, thoroughly impressed with the operation here. So let's get back to business.
Well, thank you so much. And speaking on being impressed, when we were off camera, you shared a story about the button that you have on.
Oh, yes, of course. This
Can
is
you share that with our audience?
well, this is the UNIA ACL button. It was founded by the Honorable Marcus Garvey, and you know, thousands upon thousands of members of the UNIA ACL that decided that this would be the flag that represents people of all African descent across the world. So, you know, you think about Africa, you think about how many flags are represented by every country. You look at the Caribbean Islands, you see all these flags representing the Caribbean Islands, and we're so segmented, so divided that, you know, the wisdom that, you know, the Honorable Marcus Garvey had in 1920 to give us our own flag. And actually, it was a response to a song that came out in the 1920s that said, "Every race has a flag but the coon." And this song, you can type it into YouTube right now and you'll find it. And people have created music videos for it in the whole nine, and you'll hear it. This was on the radio. And I think that's why it's so important for me to be on the radio, because it's such an influential and powerful medium to communicate with people. But nevertheless, this flag is, like I said, it's the Pan-African flag, the UNIA flag. And in Toronto, 2016, my organization, the Emancipation Month organization, we were the first to ever lift this flag on Canadian soil on a government ground, right? Okay. So we actually, in 2016, we lifted this flag at City Hall in Toronto. And the flag that we lifted up in Toronto was made here in Buffalo by the local UNIA ACL number 433 division. And so they helped they gave me the flag, and they also walked me through the protocol on how to raise the flag and to fully understand it. So I wasn't operating, you know, in a state of lack of understanding, but I understood fully what it represented, and that I also gave it the reverence it deserved. So this year we followed that effort up with more history making, and we lifted the flag not only at City Hall, and we left it up for 3 days during Caravana weekend. A lot of people don't know, but Caravana is actually a celebration from emancipation. So the origin of a Caravana comes from being where we used to make fun of the slave masters, and we used to dress up as the slave masters and make fun of them. So it was a way of poking fun back at them, but it was also a way of celebrating our emancipation when we received it. So we left this flag up at City Hall during the Caravana weekend, so all the tourists that came by got to see the red, black, and green flying at City Hall. But we also lifted the flag at Queen's Park, which is a very important place where government takes place. It's basically the capital of Ontario, which is like Albany to New York.
Right.
And so, and we've just introduced this flag and everything it represents all across the province. So it's a great story that connects Buffalo to Toronto, and we're not done. We're not done.
Yeah, it seems like everything you do, you try to keep that connection between Buffalo and Toronto, whether it's the knowledge, whether it's the money, and like with your show, you're saying money, power, and respect, and you, from the stories that you tell and from the things that you have done, you carry that back and forth. It's not like
it's a burden. It's a burden sometimes, but it's a real responsibility, and every heavy responsibility should feel like a burden sometimes. And but it's very important that, you know, that I find a way to be a bridge, you know, between the two different markets, and that I allow the people who I know and respect the most, you know, to benefit from having access to these markets. I mean, you know, Toronto's 3+ million, almost 3 million people. And, you know, here in Buffalo, we create great products. You know, the industry considers Buffalo to be a beta market. So, like, if Lay's wants to launch a new chip, they'll drop it on Buffalo, right? Because Buffalo has a great blend of demographics. So, you know, here in Buffalo, we build great things. We create amazing things. But it's not until we get into a big market where we really find out what we're made of. And I think, you know, Toronto provides us a close enough major market where if we have the infrastructure to introduce our products and our services there, we can find out if we got what it takes to go, you know, mainstream and really even build capital and everything else that you need to launch your business.
Well, let me be a bridge into something, because
Okay.
everything you're saying and you're doing, you're bringing a lot of power into the unification that you try to do with the button, with the flag,
Amen.
with their conversation,
Gotcha.
with your transformation from Toronto into Buffalo.
Yeah.
So how does that power, money, power, and respect, work for you now today?
Well, I think the respect portion of it is important, right? I think paying tribute to those who come before us is very important. In Toronto, I created the Jackie Robinson Fortitude Award, and for the past 3 years, we've honored stalwarts and leaders in various markets who have really broke color barriers and made a difference. And you know, when the opportunity to come back to Buffalo, you know, I really just respect what Sheila Brown, what she has done for Buffalo, being the first woman of African descent, you know, in this market to own a radio station. And really it's two, right? Because it's WFO and it's Power 96.5. But I used to work for her in her promotions department years ago before I went out to Toronto. And, you know, she gave me an opportunity, you know, and really the opportunity was not necessarily an employment opportunity, but it was an opportunity to learn what it takes to run a business and build an empire. And that's what she considers that place, and that's what it is. It's a major media force in this market, and after she went from AM to FM, I realized that, you know what, this is an opportunity to truly connect Toronto to Buffalo in a special way. And so the Money, Power, and Respect show is a bridge, is a platform that is shared between the Canadian market and the Buffalo market, where artists from both areas, you know, can be heard, where movers and shakers can also be featured through interviews and things of that nature. And so I've been able to just create a dialogue between the different markets using the internet, so we can, you know, really connect the dots and really connect people into Buffalo, because just like we want to get into Toronto, trust me, there's Torontonians who want to break into Buffalo, because that's breaking into the US. That's a major milestone for them. That's an incredible, you've become international the minute you infrastructure that can fuel those relationships is important to me. And I just think, you know, Sheila L. Brown and you know, and everyone there who welcomed me back in open arms,
Yes.
who caught the vision when I pitched Money, Power, Respect show. You know, they caught the vision, and now the show it can be heard 4 nights a week, Monday through Thursday, from 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. And I take great pride in producing the show. I think I know it's the most rewarding show on the radio, whether it's through the prizes and the things we give away. Actually, Phenomenal Expressions even gave us a bag to give away during one of our contest segments. Every show we have a contest segment, and they even gave away a bag. So it's the most rewarding show on radio from a tangible point of view. But I think our subject matter really covers some of the most important, most hot button subject matter when it comes to money, power, respect.
Yes.
That you're going to get more out of this than any hour you can dedicate into any media, TV, radio, internet.
Well, what we're going to do, that's all very interesting, and I want to give you more time to speak on it, more time to explain what's going on. But right now we're going to take a break. Again, we're on location at Phenomenal Expressions at 517 Main Street in downtown Buffalo. This is the Advocator Show. I'm your host, Valerie Crawford, and we're sitting here talking to Mr. DeWitt Lee III, and we'll be right back.
I believe in nature.
I believe in the spirit.
I believe in trust.
Beauty.
I believe in my mom.
Strawberry ice cream.
Fortune cookies.
Chocolate.
I believe in
The Tooth Fairy.
being honest with yourself.
I believe in Santa Claus.
Aliens, of course. I believe what I want to believe.
I believe in myself.
I believe in myself. I believe in peace.
Welcome back. My name is Valerie Crawford. We're back here at Phenomenal Expressions on location at 517 Main Street in downtown Buffalo, and this is the Advocator Show. Before we left off, I told you that we'd be back with DeWitt Lee III, the founder and host of the Money, Power, and Respect show on Power 96.5. But he had to leave, but we have a special guest coming to you right now.
What a great place this spend some time. Hello.
Hello, Kente Claus. We are so glad to have you here at Phenomenal Expressions. You were here visiting us on the Christmas tree lighting.
I sure was, and it was awesome. I enjoyed it so much. The children were so happy to talk with me and just to actually take pictures.
Exactly.
And we were able to be part of the festivities outside, so it was just phenomenal.
Everybody was so excited. Like you said, the children just loved to see you here. But for those who weren't able to make it here down at Phenomenal Expressions to witness and be a part of the special time that you brought to us here, can you let everybody know who is Kente Claus?
Well, my daughter, it's a very deep question. I like to think that I'm a messenger. I am an advocate. I am following the tradition of Kente's from thousands of years ago. My great uncle, Kente, was part of a royal African army. And he had the responsibility to escort the Holy Family through Egypt. Now, for those who are believers and those who read the Bible, the journey of Jesus is documented there. And right after his birth in Bethlehem, his family was forced to flee. And right there in Matthew 2, I believe 13, it says they went to Egypt. And my uncle, Kente, was part of the Royal African Army that escorted the Holy Family through Egypt. And he witnessed things that the Bible doesn't talk about. Miracles that left no doubt in his mind that this baby Jesus is in fact the Savior of the world. So I'm just a messenger following the tradition of storytelling. They call us griots. And our job is to tell the story. And my great uncle Kente received a vision to put down his sword and pick up a pen and to write down the story of the first Christmas in Africa and all of the miracles that took place. So before I had this fancy suit, my daughter, I still had to tell the story. But it wasn't until recently that the Claus Corporation reached out to me and gave me an opportunity to not only spread a message of good news, but to share toys to boys and girls all across Africa and the Caribbean islands, my daughter. So I am an employee of the Claus Corporation, hence this suit, and I am a descendant of Kente the Great of the Royal African Army who witnessed the first Christmas in Africa.
That is such a wonderful story. Can you give us a little bit of information about your suit?
Well, my daughter, I must say, I'm very impressed with this suit. Because the suit has authentic Kente cloth on it from my native homeland of Ghana. The Ashanti people, the ancient Ashanti people, use Kente cloth to tell stories. Now, it was traditionally reserved for kings and royal members and only worn on very important times. And I consider this to be a very important time, and I consider any time I greet people and meet people and tell them about the first Christmas in Africa, it's an important time. But all of these colors, my daughter, represent something of importance. And I invite everyone who's watching to learn more about Kente cloth and learn more about how it's made. It comes from a word that represents a basket. It actually means basket. And because of the way the Kente cloth is woven together. And every color represents something. And so I'm proud to tell a story with these powerful colors, but also to bring these colors into Christmas. Because it's time for us to celebrate our culture in Christmas.
That's a wonderful thing, and it's also time for us to find out just one more thing. It is Christmas time. We know Christ is in Christmas.
Yes,
and
of
we want
course.
just in a brief, about 15 seconds, tell us what Kente Claus would like everyone to know about this holiday season.
Oh, simple and plain. His name is Jesus. He's the reason for the season, my daughter. He's the reason why I'm here tonight on this mission in North America to tell the story of the first Christmas in Africa. It changed everything, my daughter, and I wish I had more time to talk about all of the miracles that took place. But if they go to my website, KenteClaus.com,
Well, we're going to do just that.
They
We're
can
gonna give
find
them
out
all
more.
that information on how to reach Kente Claus, how to learn more about Kente Claus. Again, my name is Valerie Crawford. We're on location here at Phenomenal Expressions at 517 Main Street in downtown Buffalo. At this time, we would like to thank you all for joining us this evening. I would like to thank DeWitt Lee III, the founder and host of The Money, Power and Respect Show with Power 96.5, and also like to thank Kente Claus for coming out and joining us. At this time, we'll have Kente Claus give you all his contact information. And is there anything else that you would like to say, Kente Claus, at this time?
Well, of course, my daughter, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity. For those who are on the social media, you can just type in Kente Claus, and that's C-L-A-U-S. And you can find me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and wherever else the children meet up. But I wanted to give you something before I left, my daughter. Now, this is some things that I picked up while I was here at Phenomenal Expressions, and I thought this was very beautiful and fitting for a queen like yourself.
Well, thank you.
So I handpicked this here for you, and these gloves to keep you warm, my daughter, during this winter season.
I appreciate it. And it's Kente Claus colors.
Well, I
almost
thought
there. I love
it resembled, it was culturally, it spoke to me culturally, so I wanted you to have it. So,
Well, I thank you so much.
my pleasure. Merry Christmas.
From Kente Claus, my first gift. And I would like to also thank the viewing audience and everyone who's tuning in today to the Advocator Show. Follow the Advocator Show on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have a story that you want told and you want to be a guest on the Advocator Show, contact us by Facebook or email us at latelucy@verizon.net. I would also like to take this time out to thank Nikita Williams and her team for giving me the opportunity to host this episode of The Advocator. Again, I am Valerie Crawford, and I was your host for today. Thank you.